Let me tell you the story while I wait for my tacos. So as promised, I said I would share the story or the background story of the medium that came to me in my dreams and happened to be a real medium. So a little background, my eldest cousin and I have always had this, I don't even know what you want to call it, sixth sense telepathic connection. I don't know why, I don't know how, but we definitely both acknowledge that there is something very parallel there. Mind you, I obviously am a recognized evidential psychic medium. My cousin, who is as well incredibly intuitive in so many ways, doesn't really explore it. So she's aware of it, but she doesn't care to know more about it or explore it or develop it. So after my mother passed away, my eldest cousin basically stepped in and did all of the delegation for me because I was not of mind, body, sanity to basically do anything. And as my mother's only child and her not being married, I was responsible for all her affairs. But I was young and I didn't even know where to begin. So she's amazing and she stepped in and basically was my voice. But her and I had a little bit of a hiccup in our relationship after my mom passed away over some petty shit. People get weird when loved ones pass away, especially when it comes to their physical items. And so we had a little weird thing. So we hadn't actually talked in a couple weeks. One day I stayed home because I wasn't feeling well and I was sleeping on my bed and I had the phone on my nightstand. They're kind of like tilted up against the pillow, like in front of my face, but not directly next to me. And I woke up out of my dream and I see she's calling me. So I answer, and she at the time was moving her father out of his home into hospice because he was very much on the decline, and she had been cleaning out his house. So she called me to tell me a weird, unusual situation that's not that weird and unusual to us because these things happen to us all the time. And as she and my cousin Sarah, her sister, had cleaned his whole entire house, had put things in boxes, had vacuumed the rugs, had shampooed the rugs because they were getting ready to rent his space out. As she's walking out the door, she finds this coin right there. And it was a coin she'd never seen before. It was an angel coin, as she said it. It was a silver coin with an angel on it. Had no money sign or anything. It was just like an unusual coin, not associated to any type of currency. So she called me to tell me it because, again, this is not something unusual, but it's something we would definitely talk about and share amongst each other. So she finishes the story and we're just kind of like chatting and catching up because we hadn't talked in a couple weeks. And I said, it's so weird because I just had a really wild dream. And she's like, tell me about it. And the dream was that I was in Washington State, and a lot of times these old kind of Victorian style houses will be turned into like little shops or boutiques. And I was in one, like an antique shop, and I was walking up some stairs, and at the top of the stairs there's this woman that, as I'm walking up, she looks at me and she says, "Oh, are you Violet?" And I was like, "Yeah. How do you know?" And she said, "I'm a medium." And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, because I hadn't had any closure or anything with my mom, really. I was like, oh my God, do you know my mom? Have you seen her? And as I'm trying to climb up these stairs very quickly, she's stepping back and turning around like I have to go and starts walking down some other stairs. And I try to climb up the stairs and go down the other stairs as she's climbing down and people are coming up. I can't get to her. And my cousin was like, oh, describe her to me. So I'm like, okay, well, she was probably in her mid-60s. She was a little bit on the shorter size, probably like 5'4". She had brown, sandy, curly hair. And my cousin was like, does she have glasses? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, did she have kind of like a bulbous nose? And I was like, yeah. She's like, that's Nora. And I'm like, what? Who's Nora? And she was like, oh, it's someone from her side of the family, her dad's side of the family. She had known through her dad, and she happened to be a medium. And I was like, what? Like, really? And she's like, yeah, that's Nora. I haven't seen her in a long time since I was little, but she used to be friends with my father. Now, that might sound ironic, but let me finish the story. So I finished the conversation with my cousin and I jump on Facebook and I'm like, well, I have to see what she looks like for myself. So I go on my cousin's friends list and I type in Nora. Nothing comes up. I look on, like, through my aunt's thing, anyone who could have a connection with this Nora lady. Cannot find her. So I call my cousin back. I said, what is her last name? I cannot find her. Is she friends with you on Facebook? Yes. What is her last name? I had to grab my tacos. So my cousin, I was like, what's her last name? And my cousin says, Wolf. Her last name is Wolf. Nora Wolf. So I get off the phone with her. I go back on Facebook, and I'm still searching for this person. Cannot find her in her friends list. Cannot find her on Facebook. So I call my cousin back, and I'm like, why can't I find her? Because in my mind, I'm like, well, maybe she was suggested to me. Maybe that's why I recognized her face. Had no idea she was medium, but maybe that's how. Not even possible. Her account was so private that she would have to find you and add you. So my cousin had to reach out to her and have her send me a friend request so that I could see what she looked like. So yeah, she was a real person. And I ended up actually connecting with her after the fact because I was like, obviously there's a reason for this. She read me, and hopefully this works. It's connected to my car. And she told me a lot of really, really wild, factual stuff about my then person I was together with. And she was just like so on point. But the interesting thing was I needed her to remind me that everything that I was thinking and feeling at the time was real. And that I was okay to be empowered with what I intuitively felt and knew was right for me.